So let's start making a small scene using the architecture that we have in the pack. Go to the Architecture Rome rollout, and let's just start with a pre-built building. So I'm going to drag in building A. Okay, and let's just make sure he's snapped to the grid. Okay. We have that shadow catcher object. I'm just going to delete that so we just have the building A prop in the scene. And what I'll do is rotate this around. There we go. Okay. Now you'll notice there's some doorways that are open here. So this doorway here is open. This accepts a door with a hinge on it. This space here is for shops. There were a lot of shops built into the buildings back in the ancient Roman days. On the back side of the building, we have two other doorways as well. You could use gates or another type of door. So I'm just going to concern myself with this side. Next, I'm going to add a ground here. So let's go to the props, into the ground folder here, and I'm just going to grab this plane 6 meter. Just a 6 meter plane. The textures are tiled 1-to-1 on this plane, so if you duplicate it, it will tile seamlessly. Make sure he's all snapped up. Let's see. My ground plane will be at 0, so I'm going to lift up our building by just 0.5 meter here. That's pretty good. Remember, everything is set to 0.5 meter increments inside the pack, so it's good to keep that in mind going forward when you're placing objects. All right, I'm going to move him into place, and I'm just going to make a few copies. Let's add some more buildings, but this time I'm going to go in the Architecture Modular rollout. Go to the Facades and Floors. This is a finer degree of modularity that we have in the pack here. Facades are 3-sided buildings. So you can see if we look a little closer, there's a front and 2 sides. Some have windows and doorways. We also have floors that go along with them. So I'm going to grab this Facade Floor 8x6E. And this one's pretty cool because it has a kind of like a corner opening here. And what I will do is I will match the Z altitude with that guy, with the main architecture there. And I'll just situate him. So let's see. When we're doing these facade floors, you'll notice that it's just the floor itself. This building next to it has a floor, a trim, another floor that's smaller, another trim piece, a roof apex in the front, and then all the terracotta roof tiles on it. Let's do a similar approach for this one. So go back into the facades and floors, and the next thing we need to do is pick a trim. So we want trim facades. So we have 3 choices here. I'll just pick trim facade 8x6B. And I'm going to align it to that facade. That looks good. Now we need another floor. We want facade floor 2nd, which would be these guys here. I'll grab the A. I'll also align him to the bottom floor facade. And then since we can't snap on the Z, let's go back to the modify panel, and I think 450 is the right measurement. Yep, because we want to make sure we're not sitting on behind that trim. We want to be on top of it. So 450 would be the right measurement. Cool. That's situated well, but you also notice if we go back to the facades folders, we also have another floor here. These are 12x18, but the facades we're working with in the scene are 8x6. So let's find the 8x6 floor Bs right here. So we have, let me see if I can expand this out a little bit. If I change the view mode here, we have facade floor, or facade floor second, and then we have facade floor second B. Facade floor is typically for the first floors of buildings. Facade floor second is for second floors, but then this B is also just a shorter variant. So you can see this second floor here on this larger building is not as tall as this second floor here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap those out because I want to match the heights. Let's see what B8x6B looks like. Let's align that correctly. 450. There we go. We're going to need another trim piece, so I'm just going to duplicate this one up here. Align it properly. And now we do roof pieces. So let's go to the modular roof folder. And again, this building is 8x6, so we need a roof end 8 meter. We have all sorts of sizes of roofs here in case you make your building really long or shorter. It goes all the way up to 18 meters if you need a really, really big one. Going to align this one just so we're on the right grid. Let's bring this up 650, 700. Bring this forward. There we go. Oops. There. That looks good. Now we need roof edges and then the roof itself. So let's go to the roof and we want roof tile edge. We'll do 6 meter since this is a 6 meter width building. We'll align that to the roof. And I'll just rotate into position just like that. And then we need a roof tile 6 meter. I'll show you what the difference is between the two in just a second. Roof tile edge has this kind of a wooden lip, so it overhangs nicely, and it sits just above the trim, whereas just regular roof tile is a tiling piece that we would use in the higher altitudes of the roof, so like this piece right here. So let's bring this down, 800. Yep, that looks good. I'll leave this space empty since we're only concerned with this point of view. And so we have a basic building, real easy to set up. We can go a little bit further on adding some variation to our wall surfaces here. If we go to the modular features folder and scroll down, we have various wood supports. And they go from 2, 4, 6 meters, and we have corner pieces. But if you look closer, we have wood supports and wood supports B. Whatever is labeled B will match with the facade floor second B variants. Anything that's not B will fit with the other sizes. So since this is a B, we'll need the B. So let's drag in a wood supports B corner 1 meter. We're going to put that right on the corner of this building there. Let's make sure that we round off the transform. And then we'll do a 4 meter wood support B to finish off that side. We'll first align it, rotate it, and move it into position. And then we can finish off with a simple wood support B single, which is this single wood post running vertically. Let's rotate that. There we go. Great. We can also do the front of this building too. Let's do a wood supports B 6 meter. And these wood supports should automatically be spaced out to support all these windows. Just like that. That looks pretty cool. Let's do a little more decoration on the front here. Let's go to the props ground folder, and we'll do some elevated walkways here. Now, elevated walkways are about 2 meters in height. You can set them to however high as you want to. 50, maybe 25, 0. Yeah, we'll keep it 0 right there. We'll have to lift up this building. We might need to go to 100. That looks good. Okay. Let's go back to ground. We'll do a walkway elevated stairs. And this should snap very nicely into place. There we go. And I'll make another copy of this just to have it go off. Okay, we're going to start propping out this area here. And before we go any further, go ahead and link all the objects of our facade building to a dummy so that we can better move it around if we need to do it later. Okay, I linked all of the facade meshes to a simple little cube primitive here. So I could just take that cube. I'm just going to lower the Z to 10, just so that we have a little bit of a lip on that foundation showing. Let's start propping out some things here. So let's go to the props ground folder. Actually, let's do 6 by 6. Push it out a little further. There we go. I just wanted it to show a little bit above the ground. Now let's start propping out. Let's go to the props architecture folder, and we'll do a table shade A, a shop table shade A. These are little cloth overhangs for any tables you have for when you want to set up a little shop. So let's do table shade B and table shade A. Rotate those and place them into position. And then we'll need to go into the props folder and grab a table. We'll do table 150 maybe. Let's see what that looks like. Got table 150. Do table 225. And if we align these on the Z, if we align the tables and props to the ground meshes, the pivots of the grounds are on the top, so that when you go to align props to it, they'll snap to where they need to be. And that's pretty cool. All right, we got our table set up here. Let's just start throwing down some props. We got some sacks, some little grain sacks. That was, let's see, sack B. We'll do sack A. We have some pots we could do. Move that over here. Do this other pot here. And let's just grab a barrel. I'm not going to go over all the props that are in the pack individually. That would take a very, very long time. So I encourage you to go and check them out yourself. I think you'll really enjoy the options that are available. And we'll just do a basket back here. Nice. And there's various items in the blacksmith folder, like hammers and tools, and then there's also food you can populate on tops of these tables. There's buckets, and let's see, we have a stump here if we want to create a little blacksmith shop, a grinding wheel, all kinds of really cool options. Go in the props folder, and there should be a cart small here, which is a nice big wooden cart. We'll just rotate that and put that over here. Nice. You can prop out a scene really fast and make it look great by just using all the stuff in the props folder. Inside this little shop here, we can populate the walls with some shelvings. If we go props architectural, we have shelf 1 meter, shelf 2 meter, shelf large. You can just put these right smack on the shelf, on the wall. We have a shop counter, which is just a large, dilapidated wooden kind of a box. And you could take the shop shade A4 meter and just put it right above. And lastly, a note about the doors. So let's go back to this front area here where the door is open. If we go to the Architecture Modular Doors folder, we have door old B, we have a gate A, a hinge, and gate B. So door old is the door that will fit within this threshold. You can see the 2 notches for the hinges. Let's bring that in. And we have to carefully just place it into position. Now these doors are made separate just in case you want to animate them because their pivots are set up correctly. So if by chance you wanted to animate these, they're going to animate correctly on the pivot. So this particular threshold will use door old B, or it can use a gate. But let's just place door old B carefully into position. There we go. And this square threshold here can use the gate A or B. So let's do a gate hinge first. We'll bring gate B in here, and I'm going to try to align it to that hinge. I wonder if that's how we'll do it. Yep. So the gate is now aligned with the hinge. We'll bring that over and move it up into position. And if you want to animate the gate opening, just animate the gate object itself and not the hinge.